This is fabulous. When I first came to China in 1978, we went to the Summer Palace and we walked the long corridor in the Summer Palace in 1978. China was very much like the picture we had in the West of Mao China. It was very, very poor. It was very grey, dusty, and everyone was very similar. There were no private cars. There were many, many bicycles and many buses. No Coca-Cola advertising. It was very, very, very different from today. The average income in China is today 20 times higher than when I came the first time. So everything is different. It's totally different. It has moved from being a poor, backward society to being a modern society where there is a large middle class who is very well off, and there are still a few poor, but the industrialization and the reorganization of China has been absolutely total. And as head of the OECD said in the meeting today, this has been phenomenal, the change that has occurred. What Deng did was, of course, to be brave enough to start a practice-based experiment. He basically said that we should learn from practice and then try. It was very impressive that he managed to convince everyone to join in that effort, and now we know that it did succeed. The most important lesson one can learn from the last 40 years is the fact that it proves that the Chinese system of governance is capable of removing poverty much better than any other system of governance in the world. That socialism with Chinese characteristics has actually lifted 700 million people from poverty to a higher income. And that's very important lesson. And that's one of the reasons why I think it is so important to stress the fact that China did actually lift a lot of people out of poverty over the last several decades. It was not done by other systems of governance. I should have said one of the main reasons my areas of work have been, of course, in environmental protection. I was the Deputy Director General of WWF, the Panda organization. So, of course, the Wolling Panda repair or rescue operation is among the things I was responsible for in the 1990s. So I've also been to those parts of the country which are, of course, wonderfully beautiful. The natural beauty of China is just what President Xi said, the green mountains are mountains of gold. And I'm very, very happy to see that the focus of the Chinese government on reducing greenhouse gas emissions have increased steadily over the last 10 to 15 years, and that now China is basically the global leader in cutting CO2. This century will be the century of China. The last century was the century of the United States. That crossover point might have been in 2017, and that this is as I expected. And I'm very pleased and very proud of China that in Davos, President Xi went out and said exactly what should be said. That it is important to stick together, and to fight for the future of mankind as one unit rather than, scrabbling between the nations. You will succeed. China will be a great place in 2050.